All right, so at this point, you should have downloaded the starter project. And if you simply open up the starter project, it will automatically start downloading the packages, which includes a lot of packages like Firebase packages, Firebase Authentication, Firebase Storage, Firebase Cloud Store, and so many more. So it's automatically going to download all of those packages into your application. So make sure that you download the starter project that I was talking about in the previous lectures. Now, our first step is to perform registration as well as authentication with Firebase. So go to your console.firebase.google.com and find the project that you have just created on the Firebase console. Over here, you can see that this is a project that I've actually created, which is City Incidents. You can even see that this project is contained two projects, or this particular placeholder for Firebase project contains an Android project and an iOS project, or apps that have been added. Let's go to the City Incidents. And what I'm looking to do right now is to enable authentication. And if you don't enable the authentication, well, it's not really going to work. So go to the authentication option, which is the first option that you see. And this will be your dashboard screen or your welcome screen for authentication. And you can see right now, we don't have any kind of authentication set up. But there is a button, which is right here, which is telling you that you can set up a sign-in method, meaning how do you want to authenticate a user? So let's go ahead and click on Set Up Sign In, and it displays a long list of many different ways you can authenticate using Firebase. You can see that you can authenticate using email and password, phone, Google, Game Store or Game Center, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, Microsoft, Apple, just anonymous. Maybe everyone can just go through. Eventually, they will get authenticated. Now, I'm going to use email and password. If you have a requirement to use Twitter, GitHub, Yahoo, then I would suggest that you read their documentation on how to do that. There's no way that I can cover all of those things, right? So the easiest one is to cover just the email and password, which is pretty straightforward. You can see that all of the sign-in providers are right now disabled. Let's go over here into Edit Configuration, and I'm going to go ahead and enable it. The second option is email link password list sign-in. So if you just don't want to enter the password, but you want to just get a link in your email and you can click on the link to sign in, you can do that. But I'm just not going to enable it. We will use the username, which is email, and the password to log in or sign in. Let's go ahead and save. And now you can see the status is now changed and is now enabled. Let's go to our Users tab over here. And you can see that right now you don't really have any users because, well, you just enabled the sign-in method. There are no users created. There are multiple ways of creating users. We will use our Flutter app to register a new user. You can also use Add User over here to add a new email and password. Now, obviously, when you are publishing this app, your actual users will not have access to this particular page. So this particular page is good for creating some sort of an admin user rather than the actual users. So if you want to create an admin user, let's say John Doe admin at gmail.com, and for the password, I will simply say password 123. I can go ahead and add a user. And there we go. You can see that it displays you the unique user ID that is associated with John Doe admin. It doesn't display you password. There's no way to see the password. It's all encrypted. The only way is to just reset the password and create a new password. So at this point, we have enabled authentication on our Firebase console, which means that now we can go into our app and actually register a user through our app. So let's go ahead and go into our Flutter app and register a user.